Hey, Shalom. Shalom, giving all praise, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, Bahasham Yahushai, Bahasham Rachah Warash. Double honor to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone who teach this truth and rule well. And Shalom to the elect. So, Brother Armwas, coming with another video. Wadi Yahweh Bahasham Yahushai. I wanted to make this video yesterday, but it didn't happen. It's a day late. No, I'm just gonna go into Easter real quick. Probably gonna be a quick video, and we'll see. If the Spirit hit me. If that'll change or not. But you see this image here, okay? And may have seen it somewhere else. I'm sure a lot of brothers have made videos regarding Easter recently. Okay. And I'm out walking right now. So if there's pauses and whatnot, I'm just keeping my head on a swivel. It's a lot of traffic. So it's Ishtar. And that's where you get the word Easter from. Alright? And I'm not going to bother reading it. You could read it there. But this is a false god, that was representing, fertility, sexuality. I've read some things say love. All right, but that's why you get the bunny, because rabbits, the Most High Yahweh Bahasham Yahushai, he created everything with a purpose, and rabbits breed really fast and have a lot of babies, and if I'm not mistaken, they come into multiple heat cycles a year, and we can fact check that. But because rabbits are eaten by, that's the food of a lot of different creatures, be it eagles, hawks, snakes, all kind of things eat rabbit, bobcats, all kind of animals. It's a prey animal, created to feed predators. All right. So, but that's why you get the bunny in there, because it's a highly sexually active animal. Okay. And then you got the eggs. Bunnies don't lay eggs. Eggs representing, it could be different things, but the woman has an egg. The man has the seed, fertilizes the egg basically incubates that seed. Okay, but it's going into basically sex. Okay, all right, so this is obviously a pagan deity, okay, and not to be worshipped by our people. Okay, the Lord Yahweh Bahasham Yahushai has commanded us to have no other gods before Him. All right, we're not supposed to partake in anything that's paying homage or deifying or exalting another God. Okay, and the one true living power, that word God going into power, so a Hebrew word Allah, okay, the true Allah, the true God, the true power of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob is the Lord Yahweh Bahasham Yahushai, and that is His real name. That's the real true name of who the world ignorantly calls God. His name is Yahweh. Bahasham means in the name. Yahweh Shai is the name of the Son, who the world ignorantly calls Jesus. Okay? And the true Israelites are the so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. Okay? You notice a lot more stuff when you're walking. I've lived in the area I'm at for a couple of years now. You know, I never really noticed the spot that I'm walking by right now. I drive by it all the time. Nice little trail area over here. It's pretty nice. Feels good to get out and walk, you know, and we've had a great example of that, you know, by our elders and apostles, okay, encouraging us to walk and exercise. All right, as the scriptures say, you know, bodily exercise profiteth little. Okay, but it still profits. All right. But anyway, so let's get this off the screen. This is a pagan deity. This is what the word Easter comes from. Let's go ahead and show you that on the etymology. As you can see, I've already looked it up. Easter, Old English. I am not going to try to pronounce all those, but let's go here. It says dawn, also possibly the name of a goddess whose feast was celebrated in the Anglo-Saxon month corresponding with April. There you go. Says, let's see here. It says, Bede writes that Anglo-Saxon Christians adopted her name for their mass of Mashiach's resurrection. Almost all neighboring languages use a variant of Latin Pascha to name this holiday. See Pascal. Okay. There's more reading here, but you get the picture. So, Easter, the very word itself, it stems from Ishtar. Okay? All right. So, a lot of so-called Christians, right? And you know, a Christian is someone, basically it's supposed to be someone who's a follower of Yahweh Shai, Hamashiach. Okay? But these people don't follow the ways of Yahweh Shai. They're anti-Christian. You know, these devils in today's churches, they don't even celebrate Passover, you know, and if they do, they'd be keeping it wrong. You know, they don't truly try to observe the Sabbath. If they do, they're doing it wrong. They're doing it on a Sunday, which is sun worship. Okay? So, let's go to the scripture, because some goofy Christian would probably try to tell you, oh, well, they talk about Easter in the Bible. So, let's go ahead and read it. Acts 12:4. And when he had apprehended him, he put him in prison and delivered him to 4 quaternions of soldiers to keep him, intending after Easter to bring him forth to the people. And I think the KJV may be the only version of the Bible that actually still says Easter. Okay, it's the Greek word Pascha, or Pascha, however it's pronounced. Pronunciation Pascha, okay? outline of biblical usage. The Paschal sacrifice, which was a custom to be offered for the people's deliverance of old from Egypt. Okay, it's going into the Passover. Okay, let's go to the definition. See that? Compare to H 6453, the Passover, the meal, the day, the festival of the special sacrifice connected with it. Okay, Easter, Passover there. You know, blue letter there is trying to make it seem like they're one and the same. Blue letter's been changing up. So it goes back to the Hebrew Pesach. Pesach. Okay? Passover. Okay? It's the Passover. So that word should have been Passover. So I did some quick reading, and you know, Lord willing, I'll bring it back up maybe in another video. But I just from what I remember, I guess the word, matter of fact, I think it'll say it in here. The word Passover itself was coined by Tyndale, and I guess during the time of the Bible, he I don't say he wrote, but translated or whatever he did. I guess the English word didn't exist for Passover. Now I'm not going to go too deep into it without having all the understanding to back it up. But let's see. Passover here, coined by Tyndale, and I read that outside of this as well, but this confirmed what I read earlier. Annual Jewish feast instituted to commemorate the escape from Egypt, 1530, coined by Tyndale from verbal phrase Passover to translate Hebrew Ha Pesach, okay, which would mean the Passover. Ha meaning the. In reference to the Lord passing over the house of the Israelites in Egypt. Okay. So there you go. You know, I'll just leave it right there. You know, but that word, that's why it's important to go into the meaning of words. You know, the scriptures say to study to show thyself approved. Okay. Scriptures say study, show thyself approved, you know, so that you may rightly divide the word of truth. Just paraphrasing that scripture. But it's very important to study, very important to go into words. The Wadi Hawabashim Hawashai, our teachers, you know, in Great Millstone, have made a great example of this, showed us this, okay? So that's beautiful. And, you know, if you're following the wrong people, you might say the English is good enough. Right? Like one of those dudes in IUIC was found to have said, okay? He said openly. So, very important to go into words. The blue letter is a great tool for that. It's not the best. Well, you know, it might be the best tool, depending on, you know, how you get down. But it goes off in some places. And then you have the Strong's Concordance. You know, the older materials you can get, the better, I'd say. And that's just me saying that. Because, you know, as things are revised, you know, Esau wants to hide shit. But there you go. Great example of why it's important to go into words, into the meaning of words. And now let's get a quick scripture here real quick. Maybe I'm gonna tune into that video right there. Believeth. I know it's in Proverbs, every word. This is Proverbs 14 and 15. The simple believeth every word, but the prudent man looketh well to his going. All right. So there you go, man. Don't just believe everything you hear. Don't take everything at face value, but actually study. Study, look into things. Make sure that you're doing the right thing. You're following the right thing. Okay? Make sure you're telling people the right thing. Don't be in such a rush to just say shit and you don't have any understanding on it. So, giving all praise, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, Bahasham Yahushai, Bahasham Racha Wadash, and double honor to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone who teach this truth and rule well. Shalom to the elect.